You want to get the numbers so that you can do a comparison, and you can't optimize. And any engineer would know this, folks. You can't optimize what you can't measure. Without measurements, there is no way we can improve. We want to improve on what we're doing. We don't want to just save some interest. We don't want to get out of debt faster. We want to take our money and get the biggest bang for our buck, save the most amount of interest, and get out of debt the fastest way possible. Because what good is fast if you have to spend an extra $30,000 in interest you were not tracking? That's what the PIL method can do for you. We're not just saving money. We're not just getting out of debt fast. We're taking that money, our money that we're already making, and getting out of debt the most efficient way possible by spending the least amount of interest that's mathematically possible. And folks, let me tell you something. Without doing factorial math, meaning looking at all of your variables, and then looking at, when you take a look at all the variables, you're also looking at all the permutations. What do I mean by permutations? If you have five variables, that's five different things that have to do with your finances, and you line those variables up, there are 120 different ways you can follow those variables. You can do these things in this order, but only one of those ways is optimum. Only one order out of 120 is going to save you the most amount of money. Only one out of 120. But if you have 10 variables, and most loans have at least 10 variables to identify, and we've identified them, that means there's 3.6 million different ways to look at your finances. And you need a system that's going to look at all of those and tell you in about 3 seconds, this is how much money you need to move. This is the month you need to move it in. This is the day of the month you need to move it on. And this is the loan that you need to attack to save the most amount of interest possible for you. That is called optimized interest cancellation. So there is absolutely no correlation between the PIL method and optimized interest cancellation and velocity banking. Velocity banking works, but the PIL method works optimally. Guaranteed. There's no program on the planet that beats this in interest savings. Let me show you how. I'm just going to give you a couple of examples using this. So here's what we're looking at. So John gets paid $950. Their mortgage is $1,199.10. Utilities are $200. So we're going to be tracking their income and their outgo. Rebecca gets paid $700 weekly. John gets paid bi-weekly. Let's take a look at their accounts first of all. So we're going to take a look at their accounts and see what's going on. They have $500 in checking. They have $5,138.89 in savings. Here is the $25,000 on their auto loan at 4%. We have a 21% Visa. They owe $2,000 on it. And they have a $200,000 mortgage at 6%. Payment is $1,199.10. Even before they pay a single penny, look in the upper right-hand corner. Even before they pay a single penny, we know at the PIL method how much interest they're going to save, $179,497. This is the number that we focus on. How much interest will they not pay? Okay, how much interest will they not pay? Now, I can know this. When will they be out of debt? 7.7 years from now. And if I want to know, I can put the payoff date up here. When we put the payoff date, we can know that from this day forward, they're going to be out of debt February 10, 2030. This is the only program on the planet that does that. Okay, now watch how the program works to get there. So we're going to go back to the action plan and see what the program is doing. So John gets paid $950. Remember, we want to save the maximum amount of interest per dollar. John gets paid $950. He tells the program he received $950. Boom. When we do that, that disappears from the screen. But if we go to the accounts, we can now see that he now has $1,450 in the bank. The virtual bank account matches his actual bank account, $1,450. How about that? So now the program knows how much he has in the bank. So when he says, oh, I have now enough money to pay, John and Rebecca now have enough money to pay their mortgage, which is going to be subtracted from the bank account. So when they tell that we paid our mortgage on time, they execute that, that is subtracted from there. And we can see, oh, we just subtracted. We have $250.90 left in the checking account. We haven't touched the savings yet. Now we have enough to pay the utilities. We also, then Rebecca gets a $700 paycheck. Now this is where it gets exciting. Do you see these little arrows here? The program is saying, put that amount of money in savings. Take the money from the checking account and put it in savings, $100.90. This is $100.90 that John and Rebecca don't need for anything else this month. The program has already looked at the entire month of June and says, this is how much you're planning to spend. So if you have this much income and you're planning to spend this much, put $100.90 in your savings account for later. Okay. And then you can now pay the phone bill. Rebecca gets a paycheck of $700. Oh, now we have a total of $388.72 in the checking account that we don't need for anything else. The program says put that in savings as well for the month of June. We're going to buy food. We're going to pay the minimum on the credit card. We're going to pay the minimum on the auto loan. And we're going to put our last two paychecks, and we're going to buy some other stuff, including their fund money, which is in an itemized budget, paying an extra $1,300 a month on whatever. They can still get out of debt in 7.7 years, saving $179,000 in interest. Watch this. So now we didn't pay anything extra on the debt this month. Why is that? Because there's an optimum day and an optimum time, optimum loan to attack, because the program is doing the math. What were we trying to figure out? How much interest we can save per dollar. I want to save the most amount per dollar. I only get so many dollars in my lifetime. I want them to work as hard as they possibly can for me, not only just making interest. Can I ask anybody about this question here? Do you, if your money can make 7% interest, but you found out your money could be actually making 10 or 12% interest, would you be satisfied with the 7 if you knew your money could make 10 or 12%? The answer is absolutely no. I wouldn't be satisfied with the 7 if I could make 12. So here's what we're talking about, folks. If you can get out of debt and save some interest, do you want to save the maximum amount of interest if we're using the same amount of money? Of course you do, but it takes a ton of math to do it. I can't guess. I can't use a pencil and paper to figure it out because there's millions of calculations that need to be done to come up with this. So watch this. So now we're waiting. Oh, we're going to go through July. We're going to pay the bills. We're going to get money in. And then the program says, keep putting money away in savings. Listen, why are we continuing to put money away in savings when we could be putting that money on the debt? Because the longer we wait, the more expensive the debt is.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L. Method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.